Hey, what's up guys? Steve Camrad here for ADV Pulse. We are in Morocco testing Ducati's new DesertX Rally Edition with some updated parts, some really blingy suspension bits. We're going to do our first walk around for this bike, and then for any questions that you guys might have, if you're coming to this a little later, check out the article. If not, leave us some comments or questions and we'll get back to you, or maybe I can address them in the article or the video itself for the review, because we've got a day of riding tomorrow and then another day. We're actually staying out in the desert as well, so it's kind of going to be a little original Dakar route kind of style thing where we actually have a bivouac. So Ducati's very serious about this bike and the suspension bits and the rally bits that are on it. Let's take a look and I'll point you towards some of the really big things that I'm excited about. Okay, so right off the bat, guys, the things that I'm really excited about for this bike is the 2118 tubed wheel set. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say they wish it was tubeless, but these are custom, well, you know, bespoke hubs, billet aluminum with cush drives in them, and it's a 2118 wheel set. The rear wheel's 4 inches, the front wheel is 2.15 inches wide, which is a bit more of an adventure spec for a tire width, but these are going to completely change the bike and also make your tire options like go way through the roof. You'll still be able to put a 150 series rear tire on there without squeezing it too tight, but then you should be able to get, you know, some of the 120, 130 width dirt bike wheels that are much more aggressive if you guys are looking to go off-road. Those are going to like open up just a whole bunch of options for us. And if you're saying, why didn't this bike come with a tubed wheel set? Then the first thing is that maybe this bike isn't for you and you should just go with a regular Ducati DesertX. Because what this bike also comes with is these sweet KYB suspension units. So these KYB units are Kashima coated up top, diamond-like hard coating on the bottom here, which is going to help with stiction, and they're 48 millimeters. They're going to flow a lot more fluid, and they've got a lot more damping kind of characteristics. This is going to be for the hardcore off-road rider who wants to be able to push this bike really hard. And these are mounted in all new CNC aluminum billet triple clamps here. Really sweet units, top and bottom. You can see the machining marks, and they're rubber mounted dampening handlebars, along with the Öhlins adjustable steering dampener as a stock unit. And this is all mounted with, again, all this aluminum that's been CNC'd. Really high-end stuff for a bike that you might see stock here, as well as this lower one, which again, all the machining marks, these have a great like kind of ride characteristic when they're forged aluminum and then they're machined. That gives it a lot more stiffness, but also being light, and it flexes in the right spots. The DesertX Rally is going to come with this high fender kit, and it's a little soft, so you shouldn't be able to break it. These are also plastic, so these should, you know, increase durability. I would have liked to seen this be a little bit of a nicer unit. The Ducati Desert Sled has a real nice option for those, so maybe one will swap out, because, you know, everything else is really nice and like harder fiberglass or metal tank like this, and then you end up with this pretty soft front fender. I would keep it because I end up smashing those off, but some of you might want something a little bit more blingy, so that might be something you want to swap out later. Still the same characteristics for, like, you know, the layout. I'm glad Ducati didn't put a large gas tank on this bike. So it's still the same standard size gas tank, but you do get the optional rally seat, which is nice and flat and should give you a lot of room to move around on, and still it's quite wide, so you'll have some comfort there. Ducati's also now using this KYB high-spec rear shock. It's got a larger shaft and also valving diameters. Here's your remote preload adjuster. It's mounted to, unfortunately, the rear foot peg assembly, so you're going to have to make a little bracket, I think, if you're going to want to take this off-road without the rear foot pegs, or maybe buy one, or maybe Ducati will have a solution for that. But to be able to take the rear foot pegs off for off-road use and then have to move your rear preload adjuster, not the end of the world. I would do it. It just might not look the best if I get done with it. At the bottom, this will speed up or slow down your rebound damping, and up top here underneath the seat is where you have your high speed and low speed compression settings. See if we can get in there. That'll be your there it is. That's your high and low speed compression adjustment. You'll remove the seat, you'll be able to get at that. So what you end up with is like this pretty close to a high spec enduro or rally motorcycle suspension on this bike, stock from the factory, which is where most of the premium feel is going to come from. These crash bars are not going to come stock on the bike. They're going to be an aftermarket piece, as well as this radiator guard, you know, Ducati factory performance parts. Neat thing about this bike is it's coming with a pretty rally influenced forged carbon sump guard. Supposed to be really lightweight, should take a couple good hits. Not sure it's going to take every hit that we can throw at it, but it's going to be really nice to have. And I mean, it just looks really bitchin' with the way this carbon's inlaid. Here we have the Rally's forged aluminum lower controls. So you end up with this forged aluminum that's then CNC'd rear brake lever, which is adjustable. And I like this because it doesn't ask you to flip it over. It's just a quarter turn to change the height. And then the teeth here are set up for your boot. Off-road foot pegs, which are a nice touch, so you don't have to run out and buy a new set right away. And here's that foldable shifter lever with the quick shifter. Everything's kind of tucked up under here, and while it may look a little exposed at the bottom, you're going to find that your sump guard's going to protect it, and also your kickstand switch and guard is going to protect that as well. It's also a nice touch here to see that the bull bars or crash bars that come down, they actually come down and protect your water pump and your engine cases here. Nice touch. I don't know if I noticed that before on the regular DesertX, which I've also ridden, so we'll be able to compare that in this review, which would be a nice thing to kind of go back and forth and talk about whether this bike makes sense for you or for somebody else. Look at that sweet engine case there and those engine covers. 110 horsepower from this bike. We're actually testing them in Morocco, so they'll be at kind of sea level for a big part of it. And what'll be nice about that is we'll be able to really feel how this bike puts down power, because last time we tested it, we were in Aspen, Colorado, and at elevations above 10,000 feet, it's hard to tell how much horsepower a bike makes. Speaking of horsepower, let's see what happens when we start this thing up. It still has this vertical TFT display, looks pretty good. We don't have to pull the clutch lever in to start it as long as we're in neutral. And this bike's already been warmed up a little bit, so we don't have such a cold start. The idle's still maybe just a smidge high, but let's rev it up. We'll get some heat in it and listen to it. Pretty good muffled sound from the stock exhaust. Last time I rode these, we had the Akrapovic slip-on pipes, or Akrapovic slip-on pipes in Aspen, and they sounded even better. So, you know, it's still quite a bit corked up, but it's got some pretty good smooth revs up high. And as you get in the middle of this rev range, this bike really starts to come alive. So I'm excited to ride it again at sea level, where we'll be able to see how much horsepower this bike's really putting down compared to some of the competition. And we'll get into that with the article and everything else. If you guys have any questions or concerns, or you want to get have any specific, you know, details about the bike answered that maybe another media outlet doesn't get for you, just drop us a line in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you guys out there. Thanks.